welcome to Flash Fried. Scotty just came in and sexually harassed both of us. He told us to drop our draws. He's like, drop your draws, boys. We're like, what? And then he's like, you heard me. Drop them draws.
I'm waiting.
We ain't doing it, Scotty.
The power dynamic of this relationship, TJ. You better fucking do it.
I'm sitting here naked from the fucking waist down, dude. As soon as he said it,
Paul's like, yes, sir.
Oh, God, please.
Poor Paul, man. I ain't doing it, Scotty.
I'm bare-assed sitting here.
That's sexual harassment, Scotty, and I don't have to take it.
I don't fucking care because I'm evil and shit, and your feelings don't matter to me. Do what I want.
All right. So this is our favorite show. This is the show we love the best, where we talk about the news, because the news is always good, right?
Man, you know what, TJ? I'm going to stay positive throughout this whole episode, dude. Tired of being negative, man. We're too negative on this show.
Yeah.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Good luck.
It's time.
Great place.
It's time to be positive, everybody. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Fertility rate. Jaw-dropping global crash in children being born. This is, of course, an example of positivity.
It's a good story.
Beautiful story, isn't it?
The world is ill prepared for the global crash in children being born, which is set to have a jaw dropping. Scotty, you fucking see what you did? You've tainted me.
A jaw dropping.
I can't get it out of my mind. His fucking horrible request. Have a jaw dropping impact on society, say researchers. So this whole thing about the world being ill prepared for a global crash in children. No, it's the opposite. The world is ill prepared for more humans. I, for one, as part of the world, am very much ready for there to be less humans. So,
well, it won't really affect you.
What an edgy opinion you've got there, TJ.
I'm not trying to be edgy. That's just the truth.
I'm not even trying to be edgy. I'm just saying, man, less humans equals better.
Does it not? Am I wrong?
I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily say less humans equals better.
Okay.
From whose perspective? The planets? If you're talking about from the planet's perspective, then sure.
Yes,
probably.
I'm definitely. That's definitely a consideration.
So you're Captain Planet now?
Yeah, I'm a hero. I'm gonna bring pollution down to zero.
Yeah, but we hold the rings that summon you. So if we never put the rings together, you just never exist.
Wait, who the fuck made you a planeteer?
Me.
Oh. Which one are you? Heart?
Heart, yeah.
Yeah, that's so lame.
No.
And 23 nations, including Spain and Japan, are expected to see their populations halve by 2100. Oh, my God. I have to play it again. Countries will also age dramatically with as many people turning 80 as there are being born. Okay, so that is a shittier aspect of this. Is this going to be disproportionately a bunch of old fucks in society? But I guess the old fucks already hold all the power anyway. So what are you going to do?
And they don't hang around long. You know what I mean? I mean, some of them do, but most of them, if they're already old fucks, they're not. They got a few more years left. You know?
Yeah. What is going on? The fertility rate, the average number of children a woman gives birth to, is falling. If the number falls below approximately 2.1, then the size of the population starts to fall. In 1950, women were having an average of 4.7 children in their lifetime. Researchers at the University of Washington's Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation showed the global fertility rate halved to 2.4 in 2017, and their study published in Lancet projects that it will fall below 1.7 by 2100. Oh, my God, yes.
TJ, not much help to you, though. As a result, the researchers expect the number of people on the planet to peak at 9.7 billion around 2064.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so even if you're alive, dude, you're gonna be an old fuck. So.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna fucking enjoy the benefits of this, but still, I'm glad it's happening.
I mean, this is kind of like what happens with a species naturally when, or at least most species, when they start outbreeding their environment. Then you see females breed less and bear less live young until the populations return to a more normal state and shit. So, You know, you add that to the psychological aspect of having children in a world like this, and it's just like, can you blame women for not wanting to have kids?
No.
Can you blame women for not wanting to be baby factories at a time like this?
I don't. I'm happy.
Really.
I approve.
I don't tell you really could. I mean, like, as we're gonna see with these stories coming up, it's getting a lot harder to fucking make ends meet. So,
like, I don't want to get too deep into personal stuff, but my sister is due pretty much any day. She actually has a date to go in for induction because she lives in a county that's one of the worst fucking counties in California in terms of the COVID outbreak. And she's 8.5 months pregnant. It's like having a baby during this. It's like,
I'll tell you what, some of the most susceptible population groups, pregnant women are among them for COVID-19. So
this is the thing. It's fucking crazy.
Doubly scary.
And this is a sad story. Kanye West ends 2020 presidential run.
What?
It lasted a week, dude.
Yeah. Kanye's presidential run, July 2020 to July 2020.
I was going to stay positive, man, but how can you stay positive when you hear news like this?
It's like, as soon as you think that something's happening that might create a little hope in the world, then it's just dashed. Kanye, why? Just take it away.
Dude, he was going to structure his White House like Wakanda.
I know. We were about to be living in fucking Wakanda, and now we don't get that.
Dude, he had Elon Musk, one of the fucking smartest dudes. You know, TJ, you talked to Howard Bloom last night. Love him or hate him, dude. Elon Musk, genius.
Genius. Elon Musk was there on Kanye's side, but somehow, even with the Wakanda strategy and Elon Musk backing him, Kanye still, his presidential run was just doomed to failure, I guess. It didn't last. Did it even last a fucking week? Did it even go a week? I don't think it even made it a week. I think it's been like 5 days or something. When did he fucking announce again? This is so fucking pathetic. What a pathetic bipolar fucking loser piece of shit. Kanye West is so fucking lame. Anybody who still thinks Kanye West is cool in 2020 is fucking like has lost the plot, man. This guy is a fucking psycho. I love him because he's just such a fucking train wreck, but goddamn. Kanye West has ended his 2020 presidential run, quotes, according to a new report in New York's magazine Intelligencer. The report cites Steve Kramer, hired by West to get him on the ballot in Florida and South Carolina, who told the magazine he's out. A representative for West didn't immediately return a request for comment from the Wrap on whether or not he ended his campaign. West gave a wide-ranging interview to Forbes last week in which he renounced his support of President Donald Trump and said he'd be running for the presidency on the birthday party ticket. I am taking the red hat off with this interview, said the rapper, who has famously supported Trump and met with him at Trump Tower in the Oval Office. West's presidential bid slightly dinged Democratic presumptive Joe Biden's odds to win the 2020 election when it was first announced on July 4th. Okay, so I guess it lasted a little longer than I thought, but still. According to one of the largest online sports books. According to Bet Online, political betting markets open the next day with West added at a plus 10,000, 100 to 1 odds to win the 2020 election. Those are the same odds 2016 Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton had when the markets opened, though she is not in the race and has thrown her support behind Biden. From Saturday to Sunday, Biden, the outright favorite. I don't know why we're talking about the betting markets here. Kanye West was obviously never going to be fucking president, nor have much of a chance of impacting the election in any way, shape, or form. But go ahead. Celebrity blogger Perez Hilton. Yeah, okay, that's great. I'm done with this article. But yeah, this is a joke. It was from the beginning, and I don't know. I thought the gag was at least going to run a little longer than this, but apparently not.
This is what happens, TJ. This is what how you explain this, dude. That's what happens when you enter the Berenstain universe, dude. That's what happens.
I mean, it's just the natural order of things. Like now, a week on the internet is like a year. So he campaigned for a good, solid internet year. It didn't go his way, and he backed out. You know.
Yep. I think that this basically boils down to one day Kanye West was fucking sitting around his house and said, "You know what? I'm gonna run for president. Get me some political people on the phone. We're doing this." And then a week later, he's like, "Man, running for president sucks dick. I quit. I'm out."
Kanye had like a manic episode, and then the manic episode ended, and he was like, "What the fuck am I doing, man? I'm not trying to be president." And he backed out.
Dude, Kanye West, more than anybody else, needs to have like an animated sitcom based around his life and adventures.
Like you guys remember the Osbournes?
Yeah. You think he needs an Osbournes?
Oh, dude, he needs to sign a deal and do a show with the Wests, because it's him, it's Kim Kardashian running around trying to be a housewife. It's like Northwest hating everything and being all bratty and shit. And it's fucking Kanye sitting there all fucking dazed and confused at the center of it, talking nonsense, just like Ozzy. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's like a complete recreation of the Osbournes. Bratty kid, check. Entitled wife, check. Befuddled central fucking figure that talks nonsense all day and nobody understands, check.
All right, you've sold me on it. Let's do it.
The Wests. Let's do it. Going West, we could call it.
Yeah. Father Knows West. Nah, I think Going West is better.
I like Father Knows West, though.
It's not bad. It's along the right lines. Bolsonaro called his isolation from the coronavirus horrible and was shortly afterwards bitten by an emu.
Fuck you, Bolsonaro, and put a fucking crown on that emu and make it the king of fucking Brazil.
The president of Brazil.
Killed that emu, too, for biting the fucking president. What do you want to bet?
Jair. I say Jair. I don't know. I don't care. Bolsonaro. No, Jair. Jair Bolsonaro has been in isolation for almost a week at the official residence of Alvarado, after confirming he had contracted the new coronavirus. In an interview with CNN Brazil, the president indicated that the new examination will be carried out on Tuesday, and he confessed he eagerly awaits the results because he cannot bear the confinement. The result of the RT-PCR examination should come out in a few hours, and I will wait with quite anxious.
Just bad translating.
Okay, because I can't stand this routine of staying at home. It's horrible, said the president in the telephone interview. Bolsonaro, who downplayed the impact of the pandemic, has claimed nearly 73,000 deaths in the country as of Monday. Reiterated that he feels very good and indicated he does not have a fever or breathing problems. She has also not lost her sense of taste. One of the more common is just Bolsonaro a chick now?
Garbage article, dude.
Bolsonaro's a girl. That's pretty cool.
Dude, so Bolsonaro basically just revealed it in this article. The reason all these people died, and he's doing really nothing to combat this virus, is he doesn't like staying at home. He's like, man, staying at home is lame. I mean, he literally got the fucking coronavirus. Doesn't even give a shit. He's the fucking president of Brazil. He probably never would have gotten this shit otherwise. He just doesn't fucking care. He doesn't want to be at home. He wants to be out partying and doing whatever the fuck he wants to do. So it's like, oh, if a bunch of people have to die, so what? Because they're going to have a lot of fun. Have a fun death.
Man.
So it's just him. This is just propaganda. It's like him saying, I want to get back to work.
Yeah, whatever.
And then he was
in isolation.
Then he was bit by an emu.
But an emu knew that he was full of shit and bit him. Just like that eagle tried to take a chunk out of fucking Donald Trump. I wish that eagle would have popped Donald Trump's fucking left eye out of his head.
I'm starting to think we should just trust birds as to who should be president. Like,
we should do that. Let's put a fucking great American bald eagle. We have the two.
You guys ever been bit by a bird?
What's that?
Yeah.
You guys ever been bit by a bird?
I got bit by a duck.
Well, then you're not going to ever get to be president. That duck knew you were a piece of shit. I ain't never been bit by a bird in my life.
Yeah, I was feeding some ducks.
A bird, but I ain't been bit by one.
I mean, he didn't really bite me out of malice. He bit me inadvertently because I was feeding him bread. So I don't know. I think he was just eager to get
I
the bread.
know. I know.
He knew.
No, he knew. He took a chunk out of your ass because he knew.
He's like, oh, boy, man, this
I held
motherfucker.
an owl on my hand. And I have fed birds. And I've gone to aquariums and places like that. You have like little treats. I've never once had a bird try to take a bite out of me.
Yep, I had ducks, TJ. I raised ducks and geese when I was a little kid. We had them in the chicken, in the chicken coop area, and none of them ever bit me.
Good for you.
I won.
You win, Paul. You win.
I will be president.
Epic failure. U.S. election officials warn of November chaos due to budget crunch.
Don't worry about it.
Washington, Reuters. A Michigan town wants machines to speed up counting of absentee ballots. In Ohio, officials want to equip polling places so voters and poll workers feel safe from the coronavirus. Georgia officials, rattled by the chaotic election last month, want to send voters forms so they can request absentee ballots more easily. In all three cases, the money is not there to make it happen, say local officials responsible for running elections in these states. Any one of which could determine who wins the November 3rd presidential election. Presidential nominating contests held this year in states from Wisconsin to Georgia have exposed massive challenges to conducting elections during the worst public health crisis in a century. Closed or understaffed polling venues led to long lines. There were problems delivering absentee ballots, and the votes took days, even weeks, to count. But instead of receiving more money for the all-important contest between Republican President Donald Trump and Democrat Joe Biden, officials face budget cuts after tax revenues plunged in the virus-stricken economy. 24 election officials across several battleground states told Reuters. The consequences, they warn, go beyond practical headaches to the risk voters' faith in the process will be undermined. I don't think there's too many voters with too much faith left in this process, but whatever.
If only.
What kind of price tag are you going to put on the integrity of the election process and the safety of those who work it and those who vote?
There actually, I would contend with you that there are plenty of fucking people in this country that take voting very fucking seriously.
I mean, there's plenty of people who take voting seriously, but I don't know how many of them actually have much faith in the process itself at this point. I mean, after seeing what happened in 2000 and what happened in 2004 and what happened in 2020 or 2016 rather.
I think a lot of the people that show up to the polls are people that have incredible faith in the power of their vote to change the world in a positive way, whichever way it is that they believe.
I wonder.
I mean, if only there was a way for people to not have to go to a physical location to vote.
Well, there's not the money for that. That's Scotty. That's too expensive.
Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, yeah. And by the way, what's the presidential candidate? The guy that doesn't want to fund the post office or make that possible?
Trump.
Oh, Trump. Oh, man. It's almost like he's trying to like rig the election in his favor or something. I mean, like, I don't know. It just seems kind of suspicious there.
If you took Trump's golfing bill for this time that he's been president, you could fund 2 or 3 of these fucking states' requests probably. Like it costs the taxpayers like $2 or $3 million every time Trump goes somewhere to golf.
No, it doesn't matter. No, it's totally irrelevant. None of these people give a flying fuck. It just shows how unimportant voting is as a whole. It's like, oh yeah, we don't have money to vote. We'll just be long lines. So basically more voter disenfranchisements, even the very act of voting, which obviously we've all questioned the efficacy of to some degree.
Well, that's why Trump and the right wing are so opposed to this vote by mail thing, is because it allows people to circumvent voter ID laws that are fucking designed to keep people at the bottom rung of society from having a fucking chance to vote.
Well, yeah, because of the plebs vote, they know Donald Trump. I mean, like Donald Trump ain't gonna fucking win if enough plebs vote. People enough people, as we're gonna see, and there's other stories here today that just show you how that whole system is just designed to keep them in basically a stasis, an economic fucking stasis of like, you're here, you're on this bottom rung. Oh, I want to vote for policies like that. Oh, sorry, the line's too long. Oh, the polling's closed. Oh, we can't get an absentee ballot unless you're a fucking in the military or disabled. Sorry.
So, I'm looking into like this whole like polling thing to see like what like voter confidence is like. Apparently, among Republicans, it's actually pretty good. says almost 3/4 of Republicans, 72%, said the election will be conducted fairly. Only 39% of Democrats and 55% of independent voters agreed. About half of Democrats and independent voters said U.S. elections are rigged to favor the rich and powerful. 28% of Republicans said the same.
I wonder if numbers were differently late in Obama's first term. Like, I wonder if the numbers were inverted. I wonder if Republicans felt like the elections were rigged and that Democrats were like, yes, this will be fair.
It could be.
I bet it was. I would bet my fucking life it was, dude. This is just a reflection. Like, these people actually do have faith in the system. That's why they show up.
I mean, you have to believe that, because if no one had any faith in the system, or it was very little, there's only like a few percentage of people that had any faith in it, the system would just have collapsed already. So it's not there yet.
People that look at it as their patriotic duty to fucking go out there and vote. There are tons of people that attach a bunch of emotion to the act of voting, like it's some sort of revolutionary act to get out there and vote.
But only about half of people even show up. So, I mean, we already got about half the country that's just totally disenfranchised.
Tons of people. I'm not saying all of the people, but you're talking about 50% of the country, and maybe, let's be real about it. Maybe 10% of that, in my mind, are people like you who basically have no faith in the system but do it anyway because it's really your only choice.
I don't know. I feel like there's a larger number of the people who do vote that don't.
The remaining 40% of people are jazzed about fucking voting.
Yeah, I guess there's probably at least 30 or 40% of the population that's still like, yeah, this is gonna fucking work out good. So
I've got faith that that's
still pretty fucking bad. I mean,
I'm doing my duty. Well, it's bad that only 50% of people show up.
I mean, but like, think about this. It's like, just looking at the fucking election, like 2000 alone should just destroy any confidence anyone has in our fucking voting system. Like, what happened in 2000 with...
It's been forgotten. No. That shit has been forgotten.
That might as well be 1,000 internet years ago or some shit.
Because 2000 is not the only example of electoral fuckery that's happened.
2004 as well.
It happens every fucking election cycle, and it's all been forgotten. All the fuckery of the past has been forgotten. We're not learning from history anymore. We're not learning our history anymore. And so the same fucking shit just happens cyclically over and over and over in this fucking country, and we all act oblivious. We all pick sides, and we all act like we're solving it. We're just participating in the morass of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It just never ends. Just Nobody talks about breaking the wheel. Nobody talks about fucking the fact that this system isn't serving people. It isn't serving their best interests anymore, and participation in it is a fucking joke.
It's serving the people that are in charge, though. So it works for them. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious that, people are just doing this. Like TJ said, I mean, like, the people like TJ are voting for harm reduction. The other people are voting, like you said, out of patriotic duty. Other people are not voting because they just don't give a shit. Or they're just like, you know what? It doesn't matter anyways. It's like, I think that 50 or whatever 40% it is that doesn't vote in presidential elections, because in local elections it's far less. Like, I checked the numbers around here because we had a local election. It was about 17% of people voted.
Yeah, I was registered to vote, and I could have shut up for that, but because I was registered as a Democrat to vote for Bernie Sanders, when I thought that I might actually, I guess I still could have done that, but it would have been pretty meaningless.
You could have voted on some judges, basically.
There was basically nothing I could actually vote for, and the people I could vote for were such fucking jokes. It wasn't even like, it wasn't worth risking coronavirus to fucking go throw them a fucking ballot. Anywho, let the good times hold. Virus recloses New Orleans bars.
Good.
Shocking. Didn't see this fucking coming a mile away.
New Orleans. It's a fresh taste of bitter medicine for New Orleans. A sharp increase in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations is forcing bars in the good time loving tourist dependent city to shut down again just a month after they were allowed to partially reopen. Louisiana had been an international hotspot for the new coronavirus in March, and New Orleans was its focal point. But hospitalizations began dropping after an April peak, and it appeared that the closure of a wide array of businesses, including dine-in restaurants, gyms, tattoo parlors, and bars, had flattened the curve. A gradual easing of restrictions began.
Wait a minute. I never once heard any expert say that the curve was flattened in Louisiana at any point. Like, I heard them talking about cases falling and stuff, but I did not hear about the curve being flattened in Louisiana from a fucking expert at any point prior to us reopening.
What we had happen was the cases spiked, and then they basically leveled off. I mean, like, and they were dropping for a while, but as soon as we reopened, everything went right back up. Like, hospitalizations were down to like 500 people in the state. The number of people contracting it was way down, but but the pattern with everywhere else. As soon as the LA state started opening up and people started traveling again, I like everything was fine. It was relevant.
A gradual easing of restrictions began in May, culminating with Mayor LaToya Cantrell's decision to let New Orleans bars reopen, albeit at only 25% capacity, on June 13th. Last call came a lot sooner than anyone wanted. On Saturday, in a move supported by Cantrell, Governor John Bell Edwards issued new restrictions. Edwards' order doesn't close bars completely, but it restricts them to takeout service or delivery. Bar operators contacted Monday were treating it as a shutdown order, however. Mark Shetler, bartender and general manager at Bar Tonique, a craft cocktail dive on Rampart Street at the edge of the French Quarter, said the new restrictions, coupled with the state law, appear to limit his sales to packaged liquor and beer and frozen daiquiris. A bar like mine that doesn't help us, he said. Who the hell is going to come buy a 6-pack of beer from Tonique? That's a good question. It would make little sense to offer only takeout and delivery from Bruno's Tavern, a neighborhood bar and grill in New Orleans, Carrollton area that has been operating since the 1930s, said General Manager Will Wilson. We could stay open, but we'd be bleeding money, Wilson said.
Not at the same rate as some of these other places like Tonique. Tonique is going to be eating money.
Yeah, that's all they could do.
You might hemorrhage a little bit, but you'll weather the fucking storm. I mean, some of these businesses, I mean, look, dude, that's the downside to all of this, and that's why we need a giant federal fucking program.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't just cover like people like a UBI for everybody in the country, but bailout money for business owners like this to float them through this time, like fucking guaranteed federal loans with 0% interest rates that can be paid back at a reasonable fucking rate once shit goes back to normal. Shit like that. Like all that shit needs to have happened like 6 weeks ago.
Oh my God. And I mean, I don't know if you guys heard,
like national rent protections. Like nobody should be getting booted out of any fucking apartment into the corona infested streets right now. There should be national rent protections complete with like federal dollars backing landlords so that they go belly up during the fucking crisis.
But this is why having no federal response makes no sense, because if one state says, oh, we're going to be super strict, the other state next to it goes, who cares?
So how's it gonna
fucking work?
I didn't pull this story because it's a little bit on the old side. We didn't cover it last week, so we might as well cover it now. 32% of U.S. households missed their July housing payments, which is something that Paul's been talking about this for fucking more.
I mean, this is a time bomb that is about to go off at any fucking second. Like the end of this month is going to be fucking huge in a lot of southern states, a lot of states generally, all 50 states. There's going to be a new housing crisis.
As the economic fallout from the coronavirus pandemic continues, almost 1/3 of U.S. households, 32%, have not made their full housing payments for July yet, according to a survey by Apartment List, an online rental platform. About 19% of Americans made no housing payment at all during the first week of the month, and 13% paid only a portion of their rent or mortgage. That's the fourth month in a row that a historically high number of households were unable to pay their housing bill on time and in full, up from 30% in June and 31% in May. Renters, low income, and younger households were most likely to miss their payments, Apartments List found. In April, May, and June, the majority of missed housing payments were made by the end of the month. Apartments List reports almost 90% of households had to had paid some or all of their rent or mortgage payment by the end of June, but with late fees tacked on, those households may be more likely to miss their next housing bill, perpetuating a vicious cycle.
It's a cascading failure of people's ability to pay their bills. They were able to, it sounds like the majority, 90% of households were able to scratch together the money in the last 3 months.
Yeah. But each time they do, they're incurring late fees and all this other stuff, thus making it less likely they're going to be able to pay the next one.
And
that number keeps building up and up and up and up every month.
More money next month, but they're still being asked to stay home because they worked at Tonique. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a job. Nobody's fucking hiring right now because it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
The competition for the so-called fucking essential positions where people are allowed to work must be fucking insane right now.
They have to be.
Your chances of getting hired to do something like that, slim to none.
Yeah. And I've seen too. I've seen a lot of businesses, a lot of shit's like been closed down permanently around here since this started.
Oh yeah.
I've seen every time I do go out, which I haven't gone out too much, but the few times I have, every single time, or at least many of the times, I've noticed new things that are just permanently closed.
What was that seafood place that's over near me? Well, like it's in my town that we went to with my mom.
Acme
Oysters.
Yeah, the Acme Oyster House. Yeah, yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, they went out of business. There's a hot dog place we all used to go to. They went out
hot
of
dog place is gone. The Longhorn Steakhouse over in Covington is gone. There's a few things that are just gone.
I mean, a lot of it. I'm sure the same thing mirrors, the people's watching their communities.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's worse in many places because this, like around here, even though we're like one of the epicenters, like people around here are just like so cavalier and don't take it seriously at all.
Dude, I DoorDash a lot. Like I order a lot of meat. Well, not a lot, but we cook at home as often as we can, and then we supplement with DoorDash meals here and there. And I've noticed that the list of local restaurants is getting shorter. Like their operating hours are getting shorter, or they're closing outright, just never to return. You know what I mean? They're just like on the closed list permanently now. And every time I fucking go back, about every week, it's more and more like chain shit that's still open and less like mom and pop local joints and local businesses and local franchises and shit.
Yeah, total shame.
Well, like the Wendy's and McDonald's of the world, they have access to credit markets. The company itself will float them just to get through this pandemic. Like, look, you need a loan, we'll give you an emergency loan.
It's a real shame because it just adds to the fucking corporate blandness and fucking how every town in America just becomes the same.
Takes all the fucking spirit out of a town. I mean, and not to mention that just the economic damage. I mean, yeah, it's terrible. But we haven't really addressed that. We have not had a fucking federal response. We have this patchwork response that doesn't work.
There needs to be there needs to be a better name for this, number one, but there needs to be a New Deal. There needs to be a revamped New Deal, a second New Deal, a New Deal Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, a massive reappropriation of federal funds to social works projects. We're talking about the jobless problem right now. Mm-hmm. Massive infrastructure investment. We need it. It's like it.
Well, that's all. I mean, that's kind of some of that stuff is built into the Green New Deal. It's like the whole idea is like let's rebuild our infrastructure because it needs it.
And a lot of that shit's outside.
Let's employ a lot of these people to do that stuff. But
this is what I'm talking about though. This needs to be happening now though.
Right.
These federal dollars need to be being infused now because look, what better time to fix our infrastructure when people are being asked to stay home? Get these fucking construction workers in PPE, have them socially distance and get them out there rebuilding roads and shit. Put people to fucking work, rebuilding bridges, shoring up these fucking embankments that are always crumbling. And
if you're outside, Paul, and every party has PPE or the appropriate stuff, the risk of getting coronavirus is super low. So it's totally feasible.
So protect these people, make them part, because these fucking delivery people are coming into my complex where there's kids running around with no masks on all day. You know what I mean? Everybody's exposing themselves. If they're safe, get them out there at night when there's literally nobody on the road. Get them out there in the day when there's literally nobody on the road.
They're actually doing a big, sorry to interrupt you, but they're actually doing a big interstate project right around where we live. So, I mean, I know they can do it right now.
Coronavirus update. Health experts say 6 states should implement stay-at-home orders now. The states are Arizona, Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina, Texas, and Georgia. This article is no longer being updated. Blah, blah, blah. That's fine. With coronavirus cases spiking and hospitals running out of room, health experts are saying it's time for several states to shut down again. Stay at home is a blunt instrument, but when you're leading the world in new cases and things don't seem to be getting better, you may have to use that blunt instrument. Farshad Fani Marvasti, director of public health at University of Arizona College of Medicine / Phoenix, told the Washington Post. Arizona reported another 4,221 COVID-19 cases on Friday, bringing the total number of reported infections in the state up to 116,892. More than 2,000 people have died. The State Department of Health Services showed only 187 of the state's 1,677 adult intensive care unit beds were still available Friday. Governor Doug Ducey has urged Arizonans. What's that?
So he's a retard.
Has urged Arizonans to stay home, but he hasn't made it mandatory, according to the Arizona Republic. Arizona is still at the top of a list of 6 states that should implement stay-at-home orders now based on their risk levels, according to researchers at Harvard Global Health Initiative. The other states that have reached their tipping point are Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina, Texas, and Georgia. 14 states are at the accelerated spread stage, at which the researchers say stay-at-home orders or rigorous testing and tracing programs should be implemented.
And how about stay-at-home orders? And
yeah,
like, why is that a dichotomy? Rigorous testing and stay-at-home orders need to be implemented in these states.
We see the hurricane coming. In some places, it's already here. The question is whether you're going to evacuate your citizens from the path. Thomas Tsai, a Harvard health policy researcher and surgeon, told the Post, "We're watching this unfold, and we're frozen." In Florida, only 921 of the state's 6,001 adult ICU beds, a little over 15%, were available on Friday, according to the State Agency for Healthcare Administration. The state reported another 11,433 COVID-19 cases on Friday, bringing the total number of infections reported to 244,151. More than 4,100 people have died because of the coronavirus in the state.
By the way, that same Friday, fucking Disney World was open.
Yep, reopened Disney.
The most magical place on earth. Dude, this is a fucking jest. We were all told about this. Every disease expert warned about this. It's like, there's no excuse for doing this. These governors and these mostly conservative fucking states, or the Republican governors, didn't give a shit. Like Arizona barely even had a shutdown. Their cases are exploding. Florida barely had a shutdown. Their cases are exploding. This state fucking under pressure from this Republican administration, but these Republicans in the fucking state and Senate and the Senate basically were like, we're gonna fucking file a lawsuit unless we open up Louisiana. And now Louisiana is just every day 2,000 more cases, 8,000 more cases. It's like, this is fucking insane. How can anyone argue that this approach is working? Like, it's lunacy to look at these numbers, which are probably vastly underreporting the actual number of cases and community spread, and think this is anything but a fucking dumpster fire.
And these people are still traveling. Like people that could be asymptomatic, because the fucking incubation period of this disease before you start showing symptoms can be up to 2 weeks, are getting on planes and flying to places that have this under control, and spreading it around places that have reopened, that have controlled this and that have flattened the curve. So it's fucking ludicrous that we're doing this. You guys remember in the beginning of this, we were watching Italy, the epicenter of this disease, right?
Oh yeah.
And the people in the major population centers in Italy stayed at home and didn't work for like 3 fucking months straight before they got it under control there and started seeing the numbers go down. Like we never did that here.
No.
And here's the result. It's just going to spread to these other fucking states, and it's going to go out of control in those states again, because those states have reopened and they flattened the curve locally. But these plague rats from all these fucking southern states are bringing it back to fucking break out again.
Look at this. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert and a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, told the Financial Times he last saw President Donald Trump on June 2nd at the White House and has not personally briefed the president in at least 2 months.
So the major dude on the task force involved in influencing policy has not even spoken to the president since June 2nd.
Yeah. And hasn't personally briefed him in 2 months.
We're doing about what you would expect then. If that's their response, then what can you expect?
Minimum wage workers cannot afford rent in any U.S. state.
Yeah, the reason I pulled this is because it's just astonishing. That means like even like places like what about these cheaper states like this in the South, in the Midwest? It's like nope, not even there.
And this just compounds what I'm talking about. You take these numbers and you stack them on top of the fact that we're in the middle of this virus where we're all about to be asked to fucking shelter in place again.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking insane. Like we're about.
I never stopped the shelter in place because I knew. I knew it was bullshit because like we didn't do anything, and every time I go outside, everyone's just still like do. So
we can do our whole fucking job from home.
Thank God for that. Full-time minimum wage workers cannot afford a 2-bedroom rental anywhere in the U.S. and cannot afford a 1-bedroom rental in 95% of U.S. counties, according to the National Low Income Housing Coalition's annual Out of Reach report. In fact, the average minimum wage in the U.S. would need to minimum wage worker in the U.S. would need to work for almost 97 hours a week to afford a fair market rate 2-bedroom and 79 hours a week to afford a 1-bedroom.
Seems doable.
That's well over two full-time jobs just to be able to afford a 2-bedroom rental. The report released Tuesday defines affordable as spending no more than 30% of monthly income on rent, in line with what most budgeting experts recommend. Nationally, NLIHC puts the housing wage for 2020, or what a full-time worker must make in order to afford a fair market rental without spending more than 30% of his or her income, at $23.96 per hour for a 2-bedroom rental and $19.56 per hour for a 1-bedroom rental. That means even the average hourly worker who earns $18.22 per hour cannot afford rent, the report says. Many workers deemed essential during the coronavirus pandemic earn even less. Grocery store cashiers earn a median wage of $11.61 per hour, while building cleaning workers and home health and personal care aides earn $12.94.
Remember, they said these people were heroes, but literally these people can't even afford their fucking rent. What a fucking joke.
Those wages too. Down here in the fucking South and shit, they make way less than $11.94.
You're lucky to get $8 an hour around here. Like people act like that's a good deal for people. Like, and well, it's always excuse like it's a bunch of teenagers, it's temporary. It's like, but no, but a lot of people that's their life, and we're just and the reality is, looking at the data, these people are probably having to work 2 or 3 jobs. They even said it. They have to work 97 hours a week. What kind of existence is that? You have to work 80 hours a week.
I've worked 80-hour, maybe above 80-hour work weeks before in my working life, and let me tell you something. Now, never sustainably, never like more than 2 or 3 weeks at a fucking time ever, because it's not sustainable. It literally, you have no life.
You don't have time for a life at that point.
Your entire life is showing up and working.
You have time to sleep and work, and that's about it, and barely time to sleep, really. There was a housing crisis even before the pandemic, is the headline for the next section here.
Correct.
There was a housing affordability crisis even before the pandemic hit, and tens of millions lost their jobs. We were just talking about that a minute ago. Last year, the NLIHC's report also found that a 2-bedroom was not affordable anywhere in the country, putting the 2019 housing wage at $22.96 for a 2-bedroom rental and $18.65 for a 1-bedroom. But the findings are especially relevant now. Coronavirus-related job losses hit the hospitality and service industries particularly hard, and renters make up a disproportionate share of those workforces, according to the Urban Institute. Additionally, it is not likely that the U.S. will make the V-shaped recovery economists are hoping for, as states are reclosing large parts of their economies as virus cases spike across the country.
What the fuck are they talking about? To the people you're talking about? Fuck the recovery. What do you mean recovery? Recovery back to being a fucking indentured servant for fucking Walmart? What are they talking about? Where's this recovery? Even if there's a recovery, it's for rich people. It's not for them. So, like, they don't give a fuck about the recovery.
This recovery, by the way, is largely propped up by stock buybacks, as most of the fucking upswing of the economy has been.
Well, that's what we all know. That's where all the real wealth in this country is. It's financial tools.
S&P 500 companies have been taking their giant windfalls and reinvesting it into stock buybacks to keep their stock price inflated for years now. And this recovery that we're seeing is as a result of that.
Well, the stock market's totally, I mean, look, it's totally manipulated and rigged anyways. It's like, what, we've seen it time and time again. Like, the U.S. government will prop up stocks. They'll do it. They have no problem doing it. They'll bankroll these companies. And that was a big part of the fucking the stimulus that was presented anyways, was that, look, you guys don't have to worry. You big companies, we've got your back. The other people, they're going to get a little bit of money. Oh, you get a check in the mail, or you get deposited to your bank account directly. Isn't that great? Well, these companies are going to get billions of dollars. What are they going to do with that money? Stock buybacks. Remember the airlines? That was a big deal. That was one of the few industries that wasn't allowed to do that. And where did their stocks go, Paul?
Into the toilet. Into the fucking toilet.
So it's just, come on. I mean, I understand as well that air travel is way the fuck down. We get that, but we're saying a bunch of all these other industries have been hit in a similar fashion, and their stocks haven't plummeted.
Yeah. Wonder why. I wonder who these angel investors that still believe in these companies that have to shut down 50% of their workforce and shit are. Because usually when a company announces that it's sending home 50% of its workforce and shuttering half or more of its plants and production facilities, the stock price goes down. But for some reason, we're in a recovery, guys. Everything's on the up and up and up.
It's a V-shaped recovery, you see, because we went down, but now we're going back up.
Well, I do like the micro saving thing. Like, I'll save like whatever spare change, or you buy a purchase and it rounds it up. Like, I do that and my portfolio's up. And I was kind of like, I was looking, like, initially when all this happened, it went way the fuck down. I'm like, oh, that's to be expected,
And just think about the sustainability of an economy that's propped up on such a stupid idea as allowing companies to make themselves look like they're worth more than they are, so that we have a fake recovery. Like, what's the sustainability of that?
Paul, they've been doing that for years.
It runs out of money to invest in itself, and then what's it got to do? It turns to the federal government to print more fiat currency and grant them another $6 billion that they can invest in buying back their own stock and making them look like a fucking successful business again.
Now, wait a minute, Paul. Wait a goddamn minute, dude. Are you really going to sit here and try to tell us that this strong economy that we've got going on here is not stable?
Dude, come on. I'm taking that piece right towards the bottom, man.
Oh, yeah?
Because it still looks like it's stable there at the foundation. So I'm going to start poking around and down there.
Yeah. That economy's fucking, oh man, it's looking good. It's not at all. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be good.
This is great. Yeah, it's working out great.
Just don't you worry, man. Everything's shaping up tip top, man. It's going to be fucking dope. Everything's going good.
I still have this crazy idea.
There's not going to be fucking massive civil unrest or anything. Don't you worry.
Can you imagine one of the neocon dorks that's in Trump's orbit that he still listens to coming to him and saying, Mr. President, you have the chance to be a president that's remembered in the annals of history as one of the greatest men that ever served in the presidency, sir. A new deal needs to happen, sir. You're always talking about the art of the deal. It's going to be the best deal.
You can call it the art of the New Deal.
Yeah, the art of the New Deal, sir. You know what I mean? What if it happened? Like, I know it's probably like very, very, very unlikely.
So
That's a Hail Mary. I mean, like, maybe if Trump looks like he's going to lose and he thinks he can fucking pull some crazy shit off, maybe.
Looking like he's going to lose. I mean, I don't know. The polls are the polls, so I don't really.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to call it until, obviously the results, but I think he has a better chance this time of losing at least. Also, I wanted to point out, if you look at the trending now in this article, number 3 is the 20 habits of eventual millionaires. So it's like
people are still very optimistic, dude.
I like reality juxtaposed with like the fantasy. It's all like minimum wage workers can't afford shit.
America is still asleep. They're still dreaming of the day that they're going to be millionaires.
I'm going to be a fucking millionaire. Oh man!
Now
you know what? Fuck it. Let's see it. I want to see these habits, man. What's the habits?
Let's see if you have any of them.
Yeah, okay. Where are they? I don't even see them on here. Do I have to watch this dumb video? This is just an ad. This is just outright an ad.
Yep, it's an ad. This guy's selling some.
Rich will use these. It went down from 20 to 6.
Yeah. This guy's. It's a fucking scam. Fuck this app.
Fucking goddamn. This is how.
Get rich quick, dude.
Whatever.
Our NASA reviewed patent pending system.
Oh, yeah. It's always good. Man killed by police after mask dispute at Michigan store. Okay.
This is a crazy fucking story.
Detroit. A Michigan sheriff's deputy on Tuesday fatally shot a man suspected of stabbing another man who had challenged him about not wearing a mask at a store, police said. The shooting occurred in Eaton County, southwest of Lansing, about 30 minutes after the stabbing of an Equality Dairy store, State Police Lieutenant Brian Oleskis said. A sheriff's deputy spotted the man's vehicle in a residential neighborhood and shot him when he got out of his car and tried to attack her. Oleksis, what a stupid name, said, drop the weapon. The officer, a 22-year veteran, demanded, according to the neighborhood security video released by police. The man, Sean Ruiz, was holding a screwdriver and knives. That's kind of, what? He's holding a screwdriver and several knives at the same time, I guess.
Like, I don't know what the fuck this dude was doing.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. It was very unfortunate. She had to use her weapon, but she had to save her life, Reich said. She had to use deadly force. She did it properly. Ruiz, 43, of Grand Ledge, worked at the Michigan Department of Transportation, died at a hospital. He was suspected of stabbing a 77-year-old man inside the store when he was confronted about not wearing a mask. Why you gotta fucking keep calling this guy Oleksis? This doesn't even. How am I supposed to pronounce this? Olekis.
Probably Olex.
Let's call him Olis.
I'm gonna call him Ollie. Ollie said the stabbing victim was in stable condition at a hospital. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has ordered people to wear masks in stores to reduce the risk of spreading the virus. The goal here is to be safe, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this guy goes into a dairy place. A 77-year-old man walks up to him and tells him to wear a mask, and then he stabs the man, and then he goes home, and then he gets out of his car holding a screwdriver and several knives and is shot by the police. Is that the story here?
The story.
Okay.
Yeah. It's crazy that a police shooting that you're like, the police shot somebody, and it's like, oh, it's some crazy dude that stabbed someone for asking him to wear a mask. Sounds like a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, but is there foot? Is this like video? Of this or
no? I think that's just it says COVID.
Yeah, this is just bullshit. Okay, whatever. Weird story, but okay. Next, 87 people charged with felonies after Breonna Taylor protests at Attorney General's house. Okay. 87 people were arrested and charged with a felony after a Tuesday protest on the lawn of Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. The Louisville Metro Police Department. My wife's going to kill me if I say it Louisville, because that's Louisville. The Louisville Metro Police Department said in a statement. The protesters were demanding that charges be filed against the officers responsible for the March shooting death of Breonna Taylor. The protest began Tuesday evening near Ballard High School in Louisville, Kentucky. CBS News affiliate WLKY TV reports the protesters marched from the school to Cameron's home, with many of the demonstrators sitting and standing on Cameron's lawn. The protesters, who were chanting slogans demanding justice for Taylor, were asked to leave by police, but many chose to stay. Those who did were arrested without incident, according to the same fucking TV station. In total, 87 people were arrested, LMPD said in their statement, due to their refusal to leave the property and their attempt to influence the decision of the Attorney General with their actions. Each person was charged with intimidating a participant in a legal process, Class D felony, disorderly conduct, second degree, Class B misdemeanor, and criminal trespass, third degree violation. Cameron said his office will continue with a thorough and fair investigation into Taylor's death, and said the protest will not alter our pursuit of the truth. The stated goal of today's protest at my home was to escalate, Cameron said. That is not acceptable and only serves to further division and tension within our community. Justice is not achieved by trespassing on private property and is not achieved through escalation. Oh, kind of like when the police trespassed on the private property of Breonna Taylor and shot her in the fucking head. Is that? Yeah. It was kind of like that almost.
No, that's when justice is achieved.
That's when justice is achieved. But when people fucking peacefully stand on your lawn, that's when it's not achieved. Gotcha. Yes. It's achieved by examining the facts in an impartial and unbiased manner. That is exactly what we're doing, and we'll continue to do in this investigation. Okay. Cool.
Man, it was really crazy, like how long it takes to get to the bottom of this fucking case.
Man, it's because it's really not an open and shut kind of thing.
It's a fucking head scratcher, isn't it?
It's really a lot of fucking facts to go over and stuff, you know. Burst into a woman's house that they don't have a warrant to be in, shoot her in the head when she fucking wakes up from her sleep. But, you know, I guess, you know, there's a lot of fucking, a lot of fucking things you got to look at and examine very carefully. And
you guys get the fucking police report they released from this fucking shooting? It's like a fucking joke. It's basically like a blank. It might as well be a blank piece of paper, like police good.
She was laying there in bed, and then all of a sudden, she died of nothing. Police happened to be on the scene at the time, but they did nothing to harm her, and she just died. They said she had no injuries. Like she was, except for the bullets she was riddled with, I guess. But they didn't even mention the bullet holes or anything. They're just like, no injuries. She's fine. She's good. She's still out there walking around. She's good. She's just taking a really long nap is what's going on now at this point.
I was going to ask you guys, you remember the whole Bill Hicks bit about the magic baton? Now it's the magic bullets, dude. Yeah. The bullets just whiz out of the air magically, and then they just kill people. Oh my God.
Would you believe I'm trying to stop it? Oh my God.
Must have been one of those bullets that fall down after somebody fires a gun into the air, you know?
Yeah.
That bastard.
Listen, here's what happened. She woke up startled by the police presence. The police simply knocked on her door.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Pardon me, ma'am. Could you please let us in? She stood up. There were some bullets laying face up on her coffee table. Her foot kind of got caught in the blanket a little bit. She tripped and fell onto those bullets that then entered her body, killing her, unfortunately. Tragic accident, freak accident. That's what happened.
Rushed inside trying to save her life. Please live.
They tried to help her. But unfortunately, she tripped and fell on those bullets. I mean, what are you going to do?
Police tried everything they could try.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
These people definitely deserve to be charged with a felony for daring to sit on this guy's lawn.
They're trying to escalate, TJ.
These people, what are they? Look at them sitting there escalating, dude. You see that shit? Look at that escalation. Because, that's what I think of when I think of escalation, I think like someone was shot unjustly and then other people sat on people's lawn, on a dude's lawn. And I mean, when I see those people sitting on that lawn, I'm like, that's an escalation because it started with just a simple shooting and now it's escalated to the point of sitting on a guy's lawn. So this is a clear example of escalation. This attorney general should be dragged through the streets naked and whipped and have tomatoes thrown at him. And he should be beaten with bricks and then his fucking, okay, I'm going to stop there, but still. This guy's a piece of shit. Fuck him. He should not have a job as an attorney general. He should not have a job at all. This guy should be homeless, destitute, living on the streets with his hands out like this, begging for the mercy of people. And someone should walk up, take a big shit on his hands, and say, eat that, you fucking disgusting pile of crap.
Felony.
The most that should
I just want to remind you, felonies.
Yeah. The most that should have happened is these people should have been asked to leave his property. If they refused, they should have just taken them, arrested them, and then just released them later. Not even charged. Like, basically, it's like, oh, you're trespassing. You got to go.
Hey, guess what? Plebs, get out.
Hey, plebs, it's time to go. If you can't come born, you cannot see the show. Subscribe on Patreon.